If you've tried booking a trip to India recently, you've probably noticed that finding actual breathing room feels nearly impossible. The standard circuits, places like Goa, Jaipur, and Manali, are packed. You pay inflated prices for manufactured experiences, mostly just standing in line to take the exact same photo as 1,000 other people. You look for alternatives. You see those pristine, empty valleys on social media and think about escaping the crowds. But what those posts usually leave out is the massive barrier to entry standing between you and that empty landscape. In India today, the true cost of an untouched destination is rarely measured in rupees. The ultimate currency of travel has shifted to physical and logistical effort. Let's call this the friction tax. It's the steep investment in planning, complex government permits, and physical endurance required to reach places crowds won't go. To help you weigh your options, we need to look at destinations across two metrics: logistical friction on the bottom and cultural authenticity on the side. Mainstream spots sit low on the friction scale, but also lower on authenticity. As you move across the board toward the remote edges, the logistical friction spikes, but in exchange, the cultural reward strictly increases. Evaluating a destination isn't about giving it a score out of 10. It's about calibrating your personal tolerance for friction against the effort you're actually willing to spend. That brings us to our first category, the managed detour. This is built for the logistical optimizer, someone who wants a unique experience but lacks the time and patience for planning chaos. Take Baratang Island in the Andamans. To get there, you wake up at 4:30 a.m. and join a highly rigid, pre-packaged government convoy that drives through dense reserve forests without stopping. This convoy exists to show you a rare geological reality: underground gases pushing through the earth to create active, bubbling mud volcanoes. When we grade this category, the planning friction is very low. You book a package and show up. Transit friction is medium due to the long drive, and comfort sits right in the middle. The trade-off for this convenience is absolute rigidity. You cannot deviate from the convoy schedule. You are trading spontaneous discovery for guaranteed safety and efficiency. If you are willing to navigate bureaucratic hoops for deep, undisturbed immersion, you move into Category 2, the cultural commitment. Look at the Zero Valley in Arunachal Pradesh. It's a vast, high-altitude plateau of terraced rice paddies, isolated from commercial development. This isolation protects the Apatani tribe. Their elders still wear traditional facial tattoos and wooden nose plugs, maintaining a living connection to ancient agricultural practices. To get here, you have to clear a major hurdle. Because it borders international territory, the government requires interline permits or protected area permits, which you have to secure weeks in advance. Then comes the transit. Reaching hubs like Tawang involves multimodal flights and hours in shared taxis, grinding over mountain passes sitting over 13,000 feet. For the cultural purist, the scorecard shifts. Transit friction is high, comfort level is low, and the planning friction flashes red. But that massive bureaucratic and physical friction acts as a filter. It actively protects the quiet immersion you are traveling to find. Finally, for travelers who prioritize raw physical journeys over a tight 7-day timeline, there's Category 3, the Endurance Expedition. The Spiti Valley is a high-altitude cold desert. It is an unforgiving landscape of jagged rock and dry riverbeds, operating with near-zero infrastructure. The reward for surviving the dirt roads and river crossings are centuries-old monasteries that cling to the steep cliffsides, completely removed from modern life. The danger here is immediate. Driving over 14,000-foot passes carries real risk of acute mountain sickness, and you are doing this in a region where professional medical support is often hours, if not days, away. On the scorecard, planning is quite manageable, but comfort drops to absolute zero, and you are facing extreme transit friction. That physical risk guarantees unparalleled isolation. You have to be completely self-reliant, trading every ounce of comfort for a raw, unfiltered adventure. Modern travel aggregators can take some of the sting out of the planning process. They streamline booking the multimodal routes needed to reach these regional airports. You pay a financial premium for that convenience, but it allows you to bypass days of cross-referencing schedules and broken booking links. Still, apps can only get you to the starting line. The physical tolls and bureaucratic checks of those final miles cannot be outsourced to a platform. What is your primary constraint? If it's time and logistics, route to manage detours like Baratong. For cultural depth, navigate permits for Zero or Tawang. If you have the physical endurance for rough roads and altitudes, tackle an expedition in Spiti Valley. Authenticity in travel is rarely found by accident anymore. You have to decide exactly how much friction you are willing to tolerate, and then pay the tax. The destination will reward you appropriately.